So what we have today is we're going to calculate our monthly payments for loans, whether it's a car or a credit card or some other debt. You have this formula right here. It's fairly large, but they tell you exactly what each letter stands for. P stands for the monthly payment, C stands for the loan amount, N for the number of months, and R is your monthly interest rate. And that's where you would take the decimal and you would divide it by 12, and you get usually a pretty long decimal after that. And so this is the first page, which is Jessica. However, I have changed some of the information. That way, you still can do your own version of Jessica. So in my version, Jessica is borrowing $17,000 for a new Ford Fusion, only if the monthly payment is less than $350. And that the total cost is less than $21,000. So what I have is I have my loan amount, which is $70,000, which is already filled in on your sheet. The annual interest, which is 6.6%, that's already filled in on your worksheet. So let's start filling this in. I've got 6.6%, which is actually 0.066. So hopefully from yesterday's practice, you know that you just need to move the decimal 2 spaces to the left. If that doesn't make sense in your head, you can always do 6.6 divided by 100. And then those percents will cancel out and you end up with a decimal. Now on your sheet, your monthly interest rate is filled in, but I'm going to calculate mine. And I'm going to use my phone calculator just because I'm not going to assume that everybody has a TI-84. A TI-84 does make this a little bit easier, but that's okay, we can use the phone. And so I'm going to do 0.066, and I'm going to divide it by 12 to get my monthly interest rate. So any math I do, I'm going to use the decimal 0.0055. But if I actually want to talk about my monthly interest rate, I need to move that decimal back over 2 spaces to the right. So it'll be 0.55%, as we talk about it in the real world. So the 0.55% is what we say in the real world. 0.0055 is how we use it in math problems. So now you've got to 72 months. So now you've got 72 months, and you've got to calculate what your monthly payments will be. Now this is a fairly complex formula up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of paper to kind of help me out. So I'm going to write this down so I don't lose track, because my phone does not do fractions very well. So my C, which is my loan amount, is $17,000, just so you have an idea of what I'm typing in. My R, which is my monthly loan, I'm going to use the decimal equivalent, and then I'm going to do 1 plus that same decimal equivalent to the 72nd power, because it's 72 months is the length of my loan. On the bottom, I'm going to type in something very similar with 1 plus the decimal equivalent of my monthly, but I'm going to subtract 1, and I need a little 72 exponent up there. So now, where all these things come from is not as important, because usually there's a calculator or something to help you calculate it. But this 1.055, if you've taken nonlinear, you'll recognize that as being exponential, and it'll grow because it's bigger than 1. And the 72 is the months, so this is kind of the percentage. This is how they calculate your starting value. This top part and this bottom part is kind of your starting value. But that's neither here nor there. So let's type in just the top right now onto my phone. So I'm going to type in 17,000, and I'm going to type it in exactly. So I'm going to go and get these parentheses just so that my phone will do the order of operations accurately. And to do an exponent on your calculator, you need to get this little caret button right there. That's how you do your exponent of 72. And so then I should get this number on the top, so it'll be 138. And I'm going to use as many decimals as I can tolerate, because the more decimals I use, the more accurate my calculations will be. I don't want to do a lot of rounding until the very end, just so that you can have an accurate calculation for your real world context. You don't want to round along the way, because then that rounding error will carry and multiply. So there's my numerator. I'm going to clear it, and I'm going to type in something very similar for the denominator, being careful to make sure I put all my decimals in the right place and my parentheses in the right place, and then minus 1. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's do that, minus 1. It should be doing the order of operations. 4, 8, 4, 2, 5, 7, 9, 8, 8, 8, 9. Okay. So I typed in my numerator, I typed in my denominator, so I'm going to clear it, and I'm going to type in those huge long numbers again. So my monthly loan payment will be $284, and now I want to round. And usually you've got to think about, it's not always traditional rounding rules. Usually you want to think about who's benefiting and who's making the decision. In this scenario, traditional rounding rules would be rounding up to 51 cents, and that matches because the bank is going to want as much money as it can get out of you. So the bank is always, when it's charging you, it's always going to round up because they want to take more money from you. So even if it was 0.504, logically I think the bank would go up to 0.51 because they don't want to lose any money. So there's my monthly payment. If you have a TI-84, it's quite simpler because you can just use the the green alpha button, and go to Y equals and hit enter, and it'll give you a nice fraction bar, so that all you have to do is type in the top, type in the bottom, and hit enter. But we've got our monthly payment will be $284.51. So that sounds good so far for Jessica because it's underneath her 350 goal. But we have this other little table at the bottom we need to fill out, and it's going to tell us the number of months. So that's N, that's 72. The P is what I just calculated. And they want to know the total cost that I'm going to pay. So what I need to do is I need to take that number, 284.51, and I need to multiply it by the 72 payments that I'm going to make. And that is $20,484.72. And now, so there's that. So she's going to pay $20,484 completely. So that's in good shape too, because she also wanted to pay less than $21,000. So she's probably going to buy this for a fusion. Now to figure out the interest, you can use this formula, or you can think through it logically. If you think through it logically, you know you spend $20,000 on that car, but the car only cost $17,000. So you would take this value, subtract what it actually costed, and that means you paid $3,484.72 in interest. If that doesn't make sense, you can literally go through these numbers and do the substitutions. So like N, it would be 72. Your monthly payment is the 284.51, which will give you back the number 20,000. Because if you notice, those are the same. Now you need to subtract your C, which is the cost of the car. It's a lowercase c up there. So I'm going to minus the 17,000. And you get the same value. So it doesn't really matter which way you do it. It's better if you understand where it comes from. And so that is your first page. I can go through and answer my questions. Her monthly budget, her monthly payment does fit into her budget. The interest is, she's going to owe $3,484 worth of interest, and it will not put her over her goal of $21,000. And I would recommend this loan for her because all of her desires have been met. So now you can go to your packet and go ahead and do your calculations for your Jessica.